It's a little wore out. Buy more tools so you can work faster, so you can buy more tools. It's pretty bad when the snap-on guy tells you that to get off the truck because he didn't want your wife to be pissed off because you spend too much money. Cleaning the cup. Boy, it looks good. Look how pretty, clean, golden. Make sure there's nothing on top of the piston. There's not. The cup's all clean. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. It's all golden. Okay, so the original complaint on this was the, well, one of the original complaints on this thing. Could have come in here for clutch. It's blowing really bad white smoke, and talked to Warren over there at Butte Valley, and pulled the valve covers off, and number 5 was puking oil everywhere. It was just to another shop to have the overhead set. Why they brought it to me, I don't know, but that was the excuse, because I told them I was wanting to go ahead and set the overhead on all of it, and they told me that another shop just set the overhead. I don't know if it had the problem. I imagine it was smoking before, and that's what they were the complaint originally was. But look at this little ding in here. So I don't know what the what in the world that was, but I don't like it. And for the cost of that pipe versus going backwards, we're gonna put a new pipe in. So here's the new pipe. There's your part number. Only genuine parts sold here. I don't have a problem with aftermarket parts, but if I got the choice, I'd rather OE. Never had any issues with OE tools, or OE parts, I should say. This is that big old fat thing that came out of there. So, if you look at this one, and we'll lube that thing up before we stick it back in there. And then you look at this one, I'd say it's kind of wore out, wouldn't you? Butterfingers. Big old burrito fingers can't hang on to that slippery, slimy stuff. I guess I better pick that up. Just by, let's say that one goes right there. Try not to roll it. And I use, this stuff would be good stuff at $100 a bottle. That's not to tell you to raise the price though, Eaton. Just in case there was any wondering about what I was trying to say there. Alright, so let's go stick that puppy in there. I got a whole bunch of videos to edit and put on. I just haven't done it. I worked 6 days a week, and I'm fixing to go to that Vision to see Bus Jockey and some of the other auto nerds, and it's gonna be fun. I really enjoyed Auto Mechanica Chicago last year. Probably won't be attending this year because of they're in Atlanta now this year. I don't know. If I can break free, I might go. But it's a big maybe. Alright, so let's clean this off. This is what starting fluid's good for right here. And only this. See people start spraying starting fluid in engines. Oh, speaking of starting fluid, let me tell you a story. I went to the service call. This has been probably 8 years ago. This is why you should always be honest with your mechanic. It was a service call. I went out, and this big old beautiful Western Star was heavy haul, and he was on the he was parked, and the guy's crew went out there to start it. Did anybody see where I put my O-ring pick? Anyway, big old beautiful Western Star. I mean, this was a very high dollar truck. It wasn't just the run-of-mill junk that, you know, enough of that. Anyway, so I went out to the service call, and the complaint was the trucks will crank but won't start, and the customer's already put a starter on it, which I'm going, what? Why? If it cranks? Well, anyway, I always try to anticipate what I'm getting into before I get out there, because in this profession, nobody seems to want to hear I don't know, but I'll find out. They always want you to have the magic answer every time you go out there, and you know, sometimes you just don't have it. You gotta, you know, what was really smart, I heard one time, is half of figuring out what's broken is figuring out what isn't broken. Because if you're asking somebody what's broken and they shoot off what's broken, most likely that guy A, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, or B, he's seen it before and he's anticipating that's what's wrong. But you always want somebody that's gonna look and verify, not just, oh, okay, well, this has been a pattern failure, let's throw these parts at it and should fix it. Because most often than not, you the customer is going to pay a lot more money for that, because well, that's just the way it is. But anyway, so getting back to my story, I went out to this Western Star and I got out there, and there was literally probably 2 cases of this stuff sitting around the truck. And I asked the operator, the guys that were there, I said, you guys didn't run all that starting fluid through this truck, did you? Oh no, they said, no, we wouldn't do that. Okay. So I went, I went to go inside, open the door on the truck, and one of the first things I check for is to see if the check engine, the amber, and the shutdown engine, which is the red light, come on and cycle for a few seconds at key on, which tells me that, and what I mean by key on, I mean you turn your key on, all your lights come on your dash, does a bulb test, and they go out, but your check engine and your shutdown engines just stay on just a little bit longer. And what that tells me is that the ECM is firing up. I mean, it's not a for sure everything, but it's one of the preliminary checks you can check, so to find direction on what the problem is. Well, these guys have bled the air system and bled the air system and bled the air system, or the fuel system, and they burnt the starter up on it. That's why they had put a starter on it. And by the time I got out there, they had run all that starting fluid through it, and they told me they didn't, because had they told me they did, the first thing that I would have done is take the charge air core line off on the cold side, and I would have let it run a while to make sure that, because when it's really cold outside, that starting fluid will actually, it won't vaporize like it's supposed to, and it goes and it pulls down in the bottom of the charge air core, and as you start, when you get the truck started and it starts warming up, it vaporizes that, and it'll cause the truck to run away with itself. Well, that's exactly what happened with this truck. I got it started, I took off, and I made it about 15 miles down the road, and the customer called me back and said, hey man, this thing just did some weird stuff. So I turned around and I went back and looked, and sure enough, that truck had run away with itself, and it ran all the RPMs all the way up. I don't know how many RPMs it went, until it threw the rod, number 4 rod, through the side of the block. So make sure and always tell your mechanic if you've done something like that, because we can always address the issue. But if you're not forthwith with us, and we think you're telling us the truth, you're probably going to have an issue. But the more information you can give us, the better off we're all going to be, because we're all in this together. Anyway, let's see if I can get this little O-ring off this little pipe in here. I don't know how easy or how not easy it's going to be. It's probably going to be a pain in the ass. Beep. Come on, little O-ring. Cooperate. Alright. Now if we can just get it back on like that, we'll be golden. Yeah. I really enjoy what I do. I just don't like sometimes the time frame that we're put under. It's just unbelievable, man. Well, where'd that other O-ring? There it is. That reminds me of the other day I was watching one of Warren's videos. It was titled "Rolling Around in the Hay," and he was asking everybody watching, he was looking underneath the truck like this, or that hay squeeze. He was looking underneath the hay squeeze like this. Does anybody see my silicone. And I was like, yeah, it's right over there. Like he could hear me. Sometimes we think that, you know, we know the people that we're watching, and reality, we don't know. Or we may know them, but they don't know us. It's not reciprocal. And so hats off to you, Warren, and Bus Jockey. You guys have given me a lot of love, and I appreciate it. Forgive me if I come across as being a little wacky, because I am a little wacky. Who else could sit here and talk to themselves and laugh and have a good time unless you're a little quacky? And I don't like rolling O-rings. I've had nothing but bad luck if you roll them. Yeah, sweet. Should pull this inner fender off. I'm almost done now, though. Man, this is not fun. I hate to pull that other injector out just to do this. I don't want to have any more issues with this thing. Come on, baby, get on there. It's hard to get big old burrito fingers in these little areas. That was Gilbert Travis. He's a guy that was a friend of mine for a long time and came to work for me, and that's what nickname he gave my fingers was burrito fingers. And I sure do miss him. Sad when you got to let a friend go that's working for you, and so unfortunately the friendship seems to go to the wayside as well. But I got to worry about my business first, my friendship second, which bugs me, but it is what it is. It's the way of the world. Had a lot of good friends throughout the years. Oh, I thought we were good friends. Sure missed the friendship we had. Tell you what, one friend that tolerated me and dealt with me, of course, besides my wife, my poor wife. I don't know how she deals with me, but I'm sure happy she does. I got the extra O-rings just in case I had to do that other cylinder, so I'm going to put some of this on here. I've never actually had any issues with this stuff that caused any problems to anything else yet. Figured I'd go ahead and start working on this and bring you guys along while I'm waiting on that guy for that loader out there, because he I think he put the battery cable on, the ground battery cable on backwards. I'll show you here in a minute. Maybe I won't edit it out. Make sure these puppies are lubed really good. Okay, I'll go ahead and lube that one in there too. And if you ever decide you want to clean these injector tips, make sure you do it with a brass brush, and just do it at your own risk. They strongly recommend you don't do that. So I've done it with some pretty successful results with brass, but if you ever use a stainless brush, you just messed yourself up. You might as well put an injector in it or take it over to the wire wheel. You might as well just put a new injector in it. You just messed up. I got my around here. I didn't get on the tip. Oh. Must have left it up there on top. Oh, there it is. Alright, so, and I like to clean these You know, I need to see what the torque is for that. I don't think it's 1 inch, so 1/16 is probably this one. It is. And then you get a mallet. This one would probably be fine. Actually, the next one would be better. Didn't I just do that? I think I did. I think I just scratched that drawer. Yep, right there. That sucks. Need a bigger box. Should have bought that Mr. Big. I had a awesome deal on it for me and I turned it down and I shouldn't have done it. Should have just bought it. But then I'd be making payments on that. Did I mention my wife is not very happy with the amount of money I spent on tools? That doesn't even include all the other stuff. Oh. I think you go like that. There we go. It's in there. Then we start our bowl just to start it. And that's good. Okay, so it's kind of cool. I think that's probably good. Okay, so let's put our manifold on there. I didn't put any oil, any lubricant on that one, did I? I did on that one, but not that one. And you go in here. I guess this would be about 15 foot-pounds, so. I usually torque everything, but that's a 7/16. Guy told me one time, 8 to a quarter return past height, or past where it runs down, and after a while you'll develop a feel like that. That's good. Okay. I'm gonna have to go verify that. It doesn't seem like enough. Not to me. 40 foot-pounds. I don't know. That bolt was kind of small. I think it's 10. Yeah, actually I think it's a 9, but I knew that was gonna happen. That's it right there. We'll verify that before. Kind of rusty. Oh. I already goofed. See these? They're valve bridges. It's very important you put them on. Well, crap hole. Okay, pull them back off. I have to edit that out. Oh well, shit happens. Not a mistake unless it leaves the shop, huh, Rick? About 40 foot-pounds. So that one will torque. Watch out, don't fall. I gotta hold this seat that this injector does not turn. Okay. I don't like to. Hand me my other torque wrench real quick, would you? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. There you go. That's how it's done.